Hello, it's me, Martin from Vigor. Today I'm going to show you the V5128 tool, a wheel bearing tool for standard wheel bearings, or two-part wheel bearings as they're also called. It's called a two-part system because the wheel bearing and the wheel hub are installed on the vehicle as two separate components. This differs from a compact wheel bearing where the wheel bearing and wheel hub form a single unit. With a compact wheel bearing, we replace the entire assembly. With a two-part wheel bearing, we have the option of replacing the bearing individually and continuing to use the wheel hub. Of course, to do this, we have to press the wheel bearing out of the car and also press the wheel hub out of the bearing. This is usually done with the steering knuckle removed on a workshop press. Our tool can do this directly on the car. Included in the set is our standard traverse, which you've seen countless times in the other sets. In this case, it's equipped with two arms that are slightly tapered at the bottom. This allows us to create a bit of space under the wheel hub later when we pull it in. Of course, the whole thing is adjustable. We can work on different size wheel hubs and wheel bearings with it. I'll show you what that looks like now. We're at the vehicle. I've already done a bit of prep work here. The drive shaft is out, the brake is hanging to the side. Here we can see the wheel hub sitting inside the wheel bearing. The wheel bearing is located back here in the housing. To get to it, we first have to pull the hub out of the wheel bearing. To do that, we'll put the traverse on. We'll hand tighten the tool to start. Now we can use the hydraulics to pull the two arms with their tapered ends in behind the hub to get a solid contact surface. In this case, it's not strictly necessary. It's already sitting flush, but we'll show it once anyway. And it comes right out. We'll look for an appropriate corresponding pressure sleeve component that fits on the hub. With this, we can pull the whole thing out. Attach the hydraulics, put the nut on, and then firmly tighten it by hand. And now we'll pull the hub out. It couldn't be any simpler. Now it's the wheel bearing's turn. You can see it clearly here, still sitting snugly in its housing, secured by the retaining ring. We'll remove the retaining ring. We'll carefully check to see which adapter ring gives us a solid and reliable contact surface. This particular one fits well. Then the whole assembly goes onto the hydraulic cylinder. It's placed right here in this exact position. For the back, we also need a pressure plate. We've selected one here with the same diameter as the wheel bearing. The whole thing is placed on very snugly, and then it is carefully secured in place with the nut. At this point, the wheel bearing is removed. The new wheel bearing, please pay attention to this, usually has an installation direction. In this case, it's marked with a color. The color marked part has to face the ABS sensor, so in this case, the color goes inward. We'll pull the whole thing in. For this, we'll set up a pressure plate that allows us to press directly on the outer race of the bearing. Don't press on the inner part, because then the force would go through the rolling elements and the new wheel bearing would be broken before it's even installed. We'll position the whole thing. As a counterhold on the back, I'll use the bridge, which is also included in the set. Simply onto the spindle. Screw on the nut. All the sleeves fit snugly into one another and also center themselves to a degree. And now I can pull in the wheel bearing, the new wheel bearing. Set it in place. You can see it goes in like butter, as if it were nothing. We'll take the tool out. And the new wheel bearing is perfectly installed. To check, we'll now look here for the groove for the retaining ring, which we'll install next. One move later, the ring is reinstalled. And the wheel bearing is now sitting perfectly in its housing and it's secured. The next step is to pull the hub into the bearing. Here too there's a special consideration. We have to be careful, of course, to pull the hub in by its inner race. That means we'll now carefully set up the hydraulics again, this time with a brand new pressure plate that firmly grips the inner part of the assembly, and then after everything is in place, we'll pull the hub into the bearing using the hydraulics once more. I always like to give it another wiggle, then I can see that the inner race is moving with it, so we're seated correctly. The hydraulics fit. What can I say? Wheel bearing out, new one in, hub in. The job is, let's say, 80% done. I just have to put everything back together, test drive, and we're done.